Hey, Ryan here. I'm just looking through the vacuum archive on Facebook. It has a bunch of print ads uh, from different brands, like mainly from Hoover and Eureka. Just looking through here, and like I said in a previous video, I was mentioning the Hoover Elite, in which I just did a video on the Elite here in the house or this apartment that I'm living at, and I mentioned about the cleaning effectiveness per amp, and I actually have the article from Ristenbot Vacuum uh, that has more information about that. So I was just looking through these, some of these print ads, because I remember some of these print ads like from the 90s and uh, early 2000s, like this one for the Steam Vac Wide Path. I'm actually kind of surprised they don't make that anymore. I actually wish they still did, because I would have bought it, because considering this, it'd be nice to have something that had a wide enough path um, to, gets carpets cleaner faster. But anyway, there's a bunch of, ads that somebody who runs the vacuum archive posted. Plus, person posted a bunch of vacuum commercials, since I'm kind of a big geek about that. So, something that's really cool. And there's something you probably haven't seen for a long time, a Hoover Constellation. I'm trying to see where it says it floats. It doesn't say anything about it floats, but apparently it stretches. It apparently had a stretch hose, which is pretty nice. And the Constellation actually was kind of unique because, like I said, it was the first vacuum cleaner canister vacuum that actually floated on air. Where I work at, we have this vacuum called the Air Rider, which I've done a couple videos for in the past, which is similar, but it's more lighter weight. But yeah, the Constellation was the first. That's kind of a neat little portable vacuum in a suitcase. And actually, and I'm going to scroll back to here. You never, back in the 50s or 40s or 50s, I guess so, something like that, you never, didn't just have just an upright or just a canister. I think for most people, they kind of had both. Like here, you'll see me. Again, I'm just flipping through these ads, so that way, as I go on about the vacuum stuff, you'll have pictures to see and everything, like this Eureka Easy Glide, which I never heard. Apparently can clean shag carpeting. That's pretty hard to clean with a vacuum, with most vacuums. But back in the 50s, for a long time, you either had you kind of probably had both, two kinds of vacuums. You had the upright, and you probably had the canister. Like this spread ad here, it kind of shows what I'm talking about. Like there's your upright, which you would clean your carpets with, and then for your bare floors, and then for your cleaning your furniture, you'd have a canister model. Or this is kind of like an example. You have your upright and you have your canister. And there was even some uprights that also had attachments, like you see there for this model 672D, 672D, Eureka. It would have its own set of attachments too, plus an adapter that we could fit your attachments on. But the biggest problem with a vacuum like that is since it's the way it's designed, it's great for cleaning your carpets, but it's not so great for cleaning above floor surfaces. I mean, you could try. I mean, it probably would have some suction, but a canister by far would have the better suction power, better airflow for furniture. Direct air upright usually does not. Maybe with the exception of Kirby. Oh, and here's a Eureka. Here's a Eureka may have never seen. which I don't think I ever seen when I was a kid. The Eureka Ultra. Um, I think this is actually before the Bravo. And I think this might have been Eureka's initial answer to the Hoover Elite, uh, which is the Ultra, which I'd never even seen the Ultra at all. And it's really cool. It's actually, and it's an ESP model, which is even better. Thinking, ooh, ESP, that ought to be an Elite. Of course, I don't know. But I would think, hey, this may have, excuse me, this might actually have the power to do it. So, there's more ads, Like I said, so Eureka back then, I think, like for me, I know I'm kind of rambling about vacuums, but maybe you find this interesting. Hopefully you do. I kind of found that Eureka vacuums, like so back then, I think they were better built than they are today. They didn't have, well, let's say it like this. They didn't have the reputation that you'd buy one and have, in a year or two have it break and have to go and buy a new one. Most of the time, they didn't do that. Most of the time, if you bought one, they'd last. Yeah, they kind of did. Because, well, why would you buy one if it broke? If it's... Well, here's an interesting little statistic. A 9x12 carpet can hold 85 pounds of dirt and still look clean. Nine feet by 12 feet, a granite can hold 85 pounds of dirt and still look clean. Huh. And apparently Eureka's answer, the ESP suction power vacuums. They also have Power Team canisters. And they also have the Mighty Mites, which is great for, your... great for small apartments or as a second vacuum cleaner. Or if you mainly just have bare floors. Like, if you just have bare floors, a Mighty Mite would work perfect. Would be perfect. Because, straight suction, you don't have to worry about it. And apparently there's a little disclaimer. Actually, it's 89.7 pounds. I think it says 89.7. Who wants to quibble? Well, maybe I do, because, you're saying it's 85, but it's actually 89.7. You could say it's almost... You could say a 9x12 carpet can hold almost 90 pounds, approximately 90 pounds, or whatever, It says the measurements is based on a test carpet used in test procedure specified American standard for testing material. You might ask, how were you able to read that? Well, I think I could read it, enough because it was legible enough. But like I said, and remember what I said before about canisters, and uprights being kind of that people would have them separately, the canister for your above floor cleaning and bare floors, your uprights for your carpets. Well, when they started adding power nozzles to the canisters, they started to bridge that gap. To where you could use a canister and it could clean both your carpets and your bare floors and your furniture. And so they're very versatile. In fact, we have a canister vacuums thing called Perfect that's just the manners one. That actually are actually very powerful. In fact, Panda is the most powerful canister we have on the market. I think it pulls 130 inches of water lift, which is actually pretty big. So anyway, so I figured, so I'm just scrolling through the vacuum archive. You might see some vacuums here you might actually have, or think, oh, this looks cool. Like this one I thought was cool. Boss self-propelled upright ESP. I don't think I ever seen this when I was a kid, and I didn't even know it was made until now, until much later on in life. Kind of wish they still had made it because I'm thinking, ooh, ESP. Yeah, I hear ESP now. They don't make. I don't think they make them anymore, and you kind of wonder like, well, what the hell? And there's a sanitaire that looks like it's a shakeout, which I actually like the shakeouts better than F&G and Dirt Cup. Because with shakeouts, you have that big capacity, but also you can dump it, and it also has the maximum airflow. Better than an F&G, better than a Dirt Cup bagless. There's some, I guess somebody who took that picture must have a pretty big collection of Eureka's. There's a Bravo 2, there's a Boss ESP, some Sanitaires, Eureka Ultra. Pretty nice. There's what they call Boss Light, but I call it Bravo 2 because that's what it looks like. It looks just like a Bravo 2. And this is actually, I think, was Eureka's answer to the Hoover Elite, because the Elite was getting really popular, and there's some Eureka commercial uprights. There's kind of like Sanitaires. There's that Auric I was talking about in an Auric X upright, like I was talking about in a previous video. I was talking about the Hoover Elite, and I said it. I'm not sure. I think it might have been made to compete with the Auric, but I wasn't sure because it kind of looks similar, like the way the bag's positioned, the overall shape and design is very lightweight. That's why I made the comparison. I thought, well, maybe it's like maybe they made it to compete with the XL, but I'm not sure. Anyways, oh yeah. But yeah, Eureka made the Bravo to compete with the Hoover Elite, and here you can see some of the canisters. Like Dirt Devil has the can vac. There's Eureka, some of the canisters on the market, 2 canisters which are really good. I had once used Eureka Smart Vac canister vacuum, which is basically shaped like a World Vac, and it was actually really good. Back then, these were actually decent canister vacuums. Yeah. And actually, I'm just looking at this. Holy shit. You notice the difference in price with these two? The World Vac is $199.99, and this home cleaning system is $399.99. Holy crap. You think, whoa. What's making this one, though, so much more expensive? Like, ooh, this is nice. But anyway. Yeah, there's some of the Hoovers. There's a wind tunnel self-propelled, similar to like the one that we use at work to vacuum the shop. Slightly newer, but again, similar design. There's a couple. I like some of these older, wind tunnel operates. I kind of wish that Hoover still made these wind tunnels. I wish they wouldn't have discontinued the non-self-propelled wind tunnels. Whenever, I don't know who designed this decided, hey, let's just continue to deal with the wind tunnel bag uprights that are not self-propelled. They're idiots. And you can see some Phantoms there. The Fury, Thunder, Lightning, Cyclone XC, the big 4. These I think are a lot better than the Crosswinds or Wildcat, that they later on made to put them out of business. These were machines that were top of the line. Like, these were the vacuums, like, if you were unique. They were way ahead of their own time. It's kind of, now today you have Dyson nowadays and Shark. Well, Shark doesn't even hold a candle to Dyson, in my personal opinion, though your opinion might be different. But anyway, for Phantom, this was way ahead of their time. This was the first brand in the United States to have a dual cyclonic filtration system, which basically prevented loss of suction or more properly loss of airflow. But these were pretty much like the Dysons, the 90s, for the United States. And actually, over in England and the UK, they actually had Dyson vacuums. And here's some of the Hoovers. There's that Caddy Vac, which is really kind of interesting. It has its own little tool caddy. That's why they call it Caddy Vac. You'd be able to pull that off, whenever you want to. Not sure if that was if it was an elite design or not. There's another Caddy Vac. I guess somebody actually tore the page off a little bit, but apparently there's Caddy Vac with a soft shell front. Excuse me. It's very cold. Sorry, I have a cold. Try not to do that. So anyway, there's more wind tunnels. There's a self-propelled turbo power wind tunnel, and I don't know what the difference was with the turbo power series. Like I said, I'm not really sure. I've seen those like in the late 90s, but I never really understood if there was any difference. And there's some of the Eureka's, like there's some of the Victory style machines, like the Victory Envirovac, Whirlwind Victory, Powerline Whirlwind. Oh, okay, Powerline Whirlwind, that's funny. So apparently Whirlwind kind of got in. Okay, so with Eureka, and you'll see this in some of the other pages, Eureka kind of did this thing where they mixed together model names of, for some of their popular vacuums like the Boss or Powerline, Bravo, and they mixed it together with other, the other brand names like, I guess they make new models. But anyway, the Whirlwind, what I liked about the Whirlwind was that it was the first, it was actually a cyclonic vacuum that was I think it was designed to compete with the Phantoms of that time. But to be perfectly honest, this was pretty much the only vacuum that I thought that came close. That was the closest to a Phantom as you could get. I don't think there was a vacuum, any other vacuum other than, not Dirt Devil or, checking the time. Dirt Devil, Hoover, Bissell, none of them, of those major brands, came close to being cyclonic like the Whirlwind did. And I'm not sure if actually a Whirlwind was as effective as a Phantom when it came to cyclonic action, or even a Dyson, for that matter. But you have to see, It's kind of interesting. Oh, and there's the Dirt Dolls, and then there's the Vision, the Dirt Doll vacuums I was referring to, the Vision uprights. Those were made to compete with Phantom as well because, again, bagless was becoming a big thing. Yeah, so, these guys came in the market. Phantom vacs, never buy bags again. And everybody else started like, ooh, we should get in on this. Eureka got in on this. Hoover would later on get in on this with the wind tunnel with the twin chamber bagless. Dirt Devil got into this. Bissell got into it, and so they started making bagless machines on their own. They wanted to compete with Phantom, and so Dirt Devil came out with the Vision, which is pretty cool. But again, like its main big flaw, which causes it to come up short against the Phantom, is the filter inside was made to trap the dust and dirt before it reaches the HEPA filter, and is meant to act as filtration. Well, that's because the dual cyclonic technology was still protected in patents by James Dyson. they can't use it, so they had to use a filter, and that caused them to block up dust like crazy. And you can see there some of the other vacuums they had, Featherlight upright, which it looks very similar to like an old Dirt Devil light that these sell. And this was actually, I think, also Dirt Devil's answer to the Hoover Elite. I kind of keep noticing I forgot Dirt Devil made one similar to the Elite called the Light. Light Plus, Featherlight. Yeah, so there you go. And they also had their swivel glide machines, which I don't think they were competing with anything. It was kind of a neat little design. And then they had the bagless versions called the Visions, which there's a Silver Vision swivel glide, and then there's the swivel glide MVP Gold, which I'm not sure what's the difference. I wonder if it's amperage. Silver Vision. Bagless, 12 amps. Cyclone clean my ass. Idaho, 16 feet. Ooh, 16 feet reach. That's nice. HEPA cartridge and inner perma filter together provide clean air and living environment. Yeah, so that's a perma filter. So you have to bang that out against the trash can, I guess, a lot. Well, I guess they made this more expensive because they include a bonus HEP filter and a static duster. But I'm not sure if really there was any difference between these two, the red and blue one. As in, well, they're both MVPs, so I really don't know what the difference was. I guess this one had a HEP filter and a bonus static duster. So there's on more pages. Okay, this one's from 1996. I used to have this JCPenney catalog. Here's some of the bigger Hoover vacuums that you've seen on the market. Maybe seen in the market. Power Drive Supreme being the top of the line machine. Like if you were going to spend your money and you were going to get something big, this is pretty much the biggest vacuum to get, followed by Dirt Finder and Dimension Limited. And I think there's the Elites. As I was talking about, there's the regular Hoover. There's this plain name Elite. There's also the Encore Supreme, which is this, or they call soft and light. Essentially, that's an Elite. I prefer. There's also Elite Supreme, and you might notice. Oops. Well, I didn't want to do that. There we go. That Hoover had the cleaning effectiveness per amp rating. And I'm gonna skim over this because this video is already getting to be long enough. Essentially, Hoover, somebody in Hoover came up with the idea to take the effectiveness rating of a vacuum, I guess of their vacuum, and divide it by amps to get what they call an efficiency rating. What you got was something like this. The cleaning effectiveness per amp rating. Which, if you really think about it, it's really kind of like a meaningless spec. I mean, I guess technically if you're trying to compare vacuums, it's a meaningless spec specification. If you're comparing with other Hoover vacuums, like which one's better? Which Hoover vacuum is better? The cleaning effectiveness rating might help. And when they actually released the format, this is actually, I think, from like the early 90s. I want to say early 90s, and I say early, I think maybe like early 90s, like right in the beginning of the 90s. They had the rating displayed like this. Cleaning effectiveness, and it looks like it says cleaning effectiveness amp 18. Well, I guess they were trying to develop like a mathematical formula. That line being divided by amps, you get your rating here. Well, people thought that the amperage was 18. Because like, oh, so it's 18 amps. Because they see other vacuums, and they think, oh, it's 5 amps. So this is 5 amps. So this is 6 amps. This one's 9 amps. Well, this one's 12. Well, look at this Hoover. It's 18. No, it's not. Because for a Hoover, amperage would only be like something like 7.2 amps or 7 amps. So later on, they kind of revamped that little the clean effectiveness rating label, and they made it like this. Like you'll see on some of the Hoovers from the 90s, cleaning effectiveness per amp equals 22, uses only 7.8 amps. And there's a Hoover cleaning performance like you see from the early 2000s. And I figured I'd show that quick. Basically, that rating system really had no... it didn't really mean anything when compared to other vacuums, like with Eurekas or with, Bissell's or something like that, because they didn't have that rating system. Only Hoover did, but if you kind of think about it, Hoover only, it's pretty much just a bullshit rating. It didn't really mean anything. Unless you're comparing against this Hoover, which I think this is 19.5. This Hoover is 22. So you go, okay, this will pick up more than this. Well, yeah, in that case, it helps. But if you're trying to compare, like, say, this Hoover to, say, like a Phantom, you're not going to get anything out of it. Because they don't have the same rating system. And actually, since we're covering Phantom, I noticed the differences. You never notice that this is supposed to be the Thunder. You ever notice that before they actually called it Thunder, that even though it doesn't say Thunder on that bin there, like on that collection bin at the bottom part, it would say we're above the latch, it would say Thunder. Well, apparently this one didn't have it. I guess this was as we were transitioning from the original Phantom, which had the white handle grip, white bumper, and a clear bin. I guess they were starting to transition to a different design, different color scheme, because it has a purple bin, black handle grip, black bumper, and it has HEPA filter standard. But look at this Fury. Well, they didn't even call it the Fury. I think this would actually be really rare to find a Phantom like this one, because it's technically a Fury. You notice that it doesn't say Fury at all. Like it's mostly all black. Kind of like the 12 amp Furies, like you see later on, like in the late 90s. But this one's only 10 amps. It has a black grip, black bumper, clear bin. It's not even silver, it's like a clear bin, which I thought was interesting because the 10 amp Furies, like you see on television, that was, you see an infomercial with Mary McDonough in it, it had a teal grip, handle grip, teal bumper, and a greenish bin, like a teal green bin or a darker green bin. So I thought that's kind of interesting. But back into the whole clean effectiveness per amp rating, like I said, if you're comparing it to Hoover, compare it to other Hoovers, it'll work. It'd be helpful. But comparing it to like comparing the Hoover to say a Eureka, Bravo power line, you're not going to get anything out of it. You're not going to get, it's kind of useless. And there's some of the Eurekas there. Oh, and by the way, like I said, there's like this Eureka Bravo, or this power line here. It's actually, I think it was a Bravo style power line. But you'll see, you'll see here, for better example, like these Powerline victories, like these victory vacs. This one says Powerline Plus, and it'll say Eureka Victory. At the cleaner head, it does say Victory. Or this one says World Vac, on the cover, the main part, like in the door, it says, on the front it says World Vac, but on the cleaner head it says Victory. And I guess, they kind of mixed together two different model names to make a new model, I guess, for some reason. Kind of like with this Mighty Might, or the Mighty Might 2, as they call it, having the name Powerline, or this Super Broom having the name Powerline. So instead of just Powerline or just Super Broom, it'd be the Eureka Powerline Super Broom. Kind of interesting. And that's not from 1996. That might have been an older page. Here's an old steam vac. Phantom Capture Dry Carpet Cleaner. That's actually a direct air machine, which is actually kind of interesting. It's a direct air machine. And you guys see there's a Hoover shampoo, polisher, buffer setup. Very popular. There's the Floormate's ancestor, the scrubbing vac. The vac part used for your bare floors. I'm not sure where the collection tank would be. But apparently did a similar job as the shampoo polisher. There's two shop vacs. There's an old Regina. That piece of shit didn't work out very well because went out of business. Because the company made that went out of business. I see videos on them. They didn't clean very well. And look at this. Look at the Hoover. Look at the Eureka. You ever notice it looks just like the Hoover Encore on the side? The way it's designed, they have no shame. It's like, oh, let's copy Hoover. It's like, it's bad enough they tried to make the Bravo to make it like the Elite, compete with the Elite. Here they took their Super Brooms and decided to make it just like the Encore. That Encore stick vac. I thought that was pretty interesting. And there's a Panasonic. There's also another Phantom. There's a Phantom vacuum. I always keep saying it's like a Thunder, but it's not really. I guess it's not really called Thunder, but I guess this is called Iona Phantom. But there's, again, Phantom vacuum, $269.99, which is actually a pretty decent amount, pretty decent for price for a magnet system, which again was way ahead of its time. And there's some more Hoover Elites. That's actually an Encore. Kind of like an Elite there. There's some that's like an Elite. Probably is like an Elite, just doesn't have a headlight. And that's $69.99. There's another Elite. There's an Elite Supreme. Excuse me. Go over here. There's another Elite, and I'm trying to. What the hell is the difference? B. E. Apparently E has a air freshening system on it, and this one does not. And again, it has that clean effectiveness preamp rating. It actually has these machines actually had. This must have been like very early 90s. Because they actually, like you can see there's the Legacy I was talking about. Oh, there's another Legacy, which I think is basically an Elite. That must be an Elite, kind of like an Elite upright. Which I think the only difference is, and I guess we'll show. Well, let's zoom out a little bit. You can kind of see the difference between the two Elite style machines. I think the big difference is this has the handle switches on top of here, but you can see the hose. I think it's more already fixed, attached to the head, to the main vacuum, so you didn't have to worry about that. I guess maybe automatically converted. I'm not sure. But that also took Type A bags as well. So did the Power Max, which is kind of like the Concept 1 and 2, which was later on replaced by the Hoover Power Drive. that only had a cleaning effectiveness rating of 18. So there's a lot of vacuums. Like, okay, 279.99. Well, this one has 17.5. This is 18. I'm sorry, but if you kind of think about it, if you're not really like a big stickler with price, this is 17. This is 17. Well, this is 7. That's 15, but still, this is 17, 17. It's not much of a difference. I'd probably get one of the other Hoovers just for price. Just for cost effectiveness. There's more Eureka's. There's a hard shell. There's the 2 World Vacs. The Excalibur. Another Eureka Powerline. And a Bravo. And there's also some like Eureka canisters. Looks like Regina had some carpet shampooers. Bissell has some carpet shampooers. And it looks like that's it for the JCPenney catalogs. There's some more print ads. But anyway, I thought it was kind of interesting. I know it sounds like I've been rambling on. It's probably been, it's 15 minutes. Okay, so I actually thought it was almost 20. And so maybe you enjoyed this video. Maybe enjoy me talking about vacuums. And like I said, I will do more vacuum videos in the future. I'm planning to do a demonstration of the Rainbow. I'm going to do the DCL7. I might do comparison videos for some of these machines. I'm going to try to do more videos at the mall, showing off some of the vacuums there, seeing what... maybe they have some newer ones that'd be really cool to see. Because, of course, if it's a newer vacuum, I'd love to see it. I'd love to try it, think, oh, this might be interesting. And by the way, that's that's kind of interesting. 8.5, 8.5. That's kind of interesting, isn't it? That's 8.5. That's 12. This is 8.5. You ever notice that difference? Almost same vacuum. I'd say almost. And I do say almost because that one's wider and this one's a little bit shorter, but I guess they kind of modified a little bit. Let me scroll way back because I actually almost forgot. A friend of my mom's, her name was Deb, actually had and let me scroll back further. This one. I think she had this one. This power line. And I think... yeah, I think she had this power line. Because I remember seeing it before, and I thought it looked cool, And it was a 12... I think it might have been a 12 amper. It might have been a 12 amp. Because I don't think it was a 7.5 or 8.5 like this Eureka Bravo power line. Well, it might... actually it might have been. I'm not sure. Who knows? It might have been 8.5. I'm not sure. But anyway, she has something similar to it. Similar to that. And such. This will be really cool. And actually, if I found a Powerline Bravo, Bravo Powerline like that, that'd be kind of cool to have. This is like, because it just looks cool. No, there's a rare machine you'll find. Riga Millennium. Basically Bravo 2. And there's some more. Well, that's... any more? Nope. Oh, there's just this ad. Can't even tell. I can't even tell what the model that is. But that's all the vacuum. That's all the pictures that I archive. Not Oddity Archive. Vacuum Archive. Damn Freudian slip. Anyway, I will do more videos in the future. I might try to do some this Sunday. I might swing by the mall this Sunday. If they had... I'm sure you read Sears. There's another... Excuse me. That was another Freudian slip that was about to come out. I was about to say Eureka instead of Sears. I know the Sears in the North End Mall, I think, is doing pretty well. So I think I go over there and check out some of their vacuums. I might do some more videos on that, which I was going to do when I was still working in Burlington. Because I said there was tons of videos I could do, comparison videos, all that stuff, and I was planning to do it, and I still plan on doing it. It's just, different circumstances kind of, screw things up. So, but I will do more videos in the future. I hope you enjoyed this one. Do you have a particular favorite vacuum in this, page? If you do, feel free to drop a comment. Tell me what it is. If you like what you see, feel free to subscribe for more videos. I will do more videos in the future, more vacuum videos. If you like, if you're a gamer, if you like gaming videos, check out my Dead Trigger 2 gameplay videos that I currently have up on YouTube right now. But yeah, I will do more videos in the future. So feel free to rate, comment, subscribe. Until then, this is Ryan signing off.